Hello Carazas, still here. This is a Vorago guide. We're going to be looking at a DPS role for Scopulus week. First off, just going to go over the gear and ability bar. You can see in my inventory here, I've just got overloads, prayer renewals and a couple of adrenaline flasks which are useful at certain points in the fight. Some super restores. I've got 6-7 here. That's more than enough. Phoenix necklace is very useful for entering the fight. When you get a lot of damage, it will heal you right off the bat, which is very helpful. I've brought some runes for debuffs and obviously some runes for attacking with. Spare yak pouch, unicorn. In DPS, you might see some people just use a unicorn. That's fine if you've done hundreds of kills, but I suggest bringing what I've got here, a full yak of rock tails, just while you're learning. Looking at the gear I've got on, I've obviously got very good gear. I've got basically the ideal gear for DPS. You can switch out Tectonic for ports gear, for Ganodermic, for for literally anything that you've got. You could use a chaotic staff. I've just got an example of the absolute best gear that I could find. Arena Vigor here, an Arcane Spirit Shield. Looking at the abilities, I've just got some basic abilities. Concentrated Blast is very important. Thresholds, obviously Anticipate and Freedom are essential, and Surge is very useful as well. And I've also just put Prayer and Food on the inventory there. And here I've got an example of some range gear you could use. Again, you could switch this out for Armadillo, you could even use Void. A Sign of Life is going to be very important. If you haven't got 99 Divination, you can't use the Portents. You know, some of the stuff looks expensive, but just switch it out for like a Blessed Spirit Shield, switch this out for Chaotic Crossbows. It's really going to depend on what gear you've got. Just go with the best gear that you've got, the best weapons, the best armor. It's not particularly important. Looking at the abilities, again, mostly just basics at the start. Anticipating Freedom, you will need them, and obviously thresholds and ultimates here. It's always useful to be able to use Surge. I've got it here. I can quickly switch on to my mage bar, and I know Surge is always there. Yep, mostly the same. Again, switch it out for chaotic crossbows, royal crossbow, anything you need. It's probably good to have a shields just for the 50k hit on entry, and same thing with Phoenix necklaces, they'll heal you quite a lot. On phase 1, Vorago has a melee attack which hits everyone within about 3 squares of Vorago, and he has mage attacks which target the person furthest away from Vorago. The blue bombs just do normal mage damage, the red bombs will hit 7k if everyone is close by, but if you move out of the crowd they'll only hit 2k. The object for DPS is to stay outside of the range of the melee attacks, but close enough so you don't get targeted by the mage attacks. Okay, you can see the kills just started now. Normally I would put on a Phoenix necklace right now just so I get that instant heal, but I know that it won't activate. So instead I just heal it with a uni and move into position. Now this is a few squares out of away from Vorago, so I should be out of melee range, and I'm not in mage range, so I just soul split. Making sure to stay out of the way of Vorago, I just carry on attacking him. I build up my adrenaline to ultimate as fast as I can. You can see I used wild magic in this kill, but ideally you want to get to sunshine quite quickly. Right, as you can see, the jumper has now lowered Vorago properly, and I get a random red here. So what I do is I don't panic, I just run out the crowd, pray magic in case I get another blue bomb, and run back into DPS range. Now it's just a simple case of reducing Vorago's life points to 0 and the phase will be over. Okay, last thing you need to worry about is where Vorago lands. If he lands on top of you, he'll deal damage. You can surge out at the last second and that'll save you some damage. For phase 2, Vorago has his 3 standard attacks. It's also probably the longest phase, since it's a timed phase. First special attack Vorago has is his bleeds, which you'll see right off the bat. The way to avoid them is just to use freedom. If you take 2 bleeds in a row, you'll deal 4.5k damage, so that's obviously something you want to avoid. Usually 1 DPS will be assigned to take the 5th Folk, which all it means is you provoke right after the 4th bleed and use freedom right after he does the bleed on you. Right, you can see Vorago uses Reflect. He always uses his Reflect 3 attacks after he's finished his last bleed. Vorago will reflect all damage onto 1 player, so obviously you need to stop attacking so you don't kill your teammates. After that, you probably saw the gravity ball just before. I'll point it out again when it comes round. You need to activate 4 gravity balls, which destabilise Vorago and get him onto the next part of phase 2, which is the bring him down phase. So here you can see Vorago's just about to do his reflect and the gravity ball appears. All you got to do is click on that when Vorago's close enough, and that's that. Wait until he's finished his reflect and go back to DPS. So this is the final gravity ball, so Vorago will go into his bringing down stage. All you have to do is click on him rapidly here. Make sure you pot it up, and you can use Soul Split here as well because he's not going to deal damage for the next few seconds. And now you have to deal damage in a short amount of time. If you're in a team with all level 90 weapons, Seismic Skin Ascensions, thresholds are probably enough. If you're in a team with lower gear, you might want to use Sunshine, Berserk, Death Swiftness and get as much damage as you can. The reason you might want to use thresholds is so that you've got sunshine at the start of phase 3. There you can see I surge right out of the stomp and avoided damage. Unfortunately I hit the bomb tank for an extra 1k. Okay, so phase 3 is a Scopulus phase. During this phase, Vorago is immune to all attacks and he spawns 2 Scopulus. They hit harder the closer they are together, so the best thing to do is to stand on the outside, either east or west, obviously not so far that you get a blue bomb, and pray melee and just attack the Scopulus. It's a very simple phase. If you see them wandering away, you can invoke them towards you. They won't always behave, they tend to like to wander towards each other. You can see there the other Scopulus gets a little bit stronger after his twin has been killed, so it's best to kill him off quickly. And once they're both dead, Vorago finishes the phase and carries on to his stomps. Unfortunately I got stomped there. Yeah, it can't be helped. So phase 4 you need to be quite careful. Straight away Vorago's going to use his waterfall special. If you can, you want to tag him, as in just attack him once so you can build adrenaline while you're in the waterfall. Best thing to do is to get quite close to the middle and quickly look around and use the mini-map to click into the corner and surge in as well if you can. Okay, as soon as the waterfall's gone, attack him, use your thresholds. He's going to take full damage for a sec, but after a few attacks he's going to take only about 10% of the damage you deal to him. At this point you might summon a stone clone. If you get a stone clone, it's pretty simple, just attack the clone and kill it quickly. It uses abilities, so you might get stunned, but you can also stun it, so stuns are useful. It hasn't got very much HP. You might want to pray magic or range if you're using range. Okay, once Vorago starts taking full damage again, it's quite a good time to use Sunshine. It's not really essential since you have to go through 3 waterfalls anyway. As you can see, Vorago uses his bleed attack again on this phase. Again, if you're the 5th folk, you just need to provoke right after the 4th bleed and use Freedom. After 3 attacks, make sure you get off in time for the reflect. And stay quite close to the middle again, because right after the reflect, Vorago does his waterfall again. Again, just surging in the middle. Careful you don't stay right under Vorago. He can stun you if you stand under him for too long. It's quite rare, but it's something to watch out for. And it's just the same thing again, use your thresholds, and then he takes less damage. Someone gets a stone clone. Fortunately it's not me, so I can't show you. But he'll kill that and we'll carry on with the kill. One last thing to look out for is Vorago will reset his HP if the phase hasn't finished. Every time it gets down to about 12k, it resets to 75k. You probably don't want to do that if you want to finish off the phase quickly. So last waterfall is coming up after this reflect. Again, if he's really low HP, you probably don't want to tag him this time. It's not essential to tag him anytime. Make sure you don't go the wrong way. And I just surge in here. And you just use your thresholds as quickly as possible, get his HP down to 0 before he takes less damage, before he absorbs it all. And the phase is over. Right, now phase 5 is the last one. It's kind of like a giant tug of war. The more damage Vorago deals to the team, the more he'll push us back. If you go off the end of the ledge, you get insta-killed. The more damage you deal to him, the further you push him back, and you finish him off by clicking on the Maul of Omens in your inventory. Usually the base tank will do that, but if you do happen to be mauling, it's simply a case of picking up the maul and clicking it once Vorago gets to the end. You see here the teams set up so all the DPS are on the south side of the ledge or the arena. The reason for that is you can't get blue bombed from all the way on the north side. You see the two tanks, and that just means less damage. You see everyone sinks the Death Swiftness and Sunshines here. That's a really good strategy. You see we're pushing back quite far in one go. The best thing to do is to every second reflect, use your damage boosting ultimate. So pushing back this time, after the next reflect, if everyone doesn't, then you can all sink again on the third time and push him back. The reason you want to sync it is if when people are doing it on sporadically or on different phases, it just doesn't seem to do very good DPS. It's just not quite as good. You see here, because we got quite a long push at the start, people wait a long while and then use Sunshine and Death Swiftness. That's probably a bad move, and you see we might have been able to get it straight away on the third reflect. It actually delays us a little bit. Okay, so this is the third reflect. This is the ideal time to sync Sunshine and Death Swiftness. What I like to do is run right up close to him because he's not doing his melee attacks. That just gives me a little bit of extra range. And also I can use Dragonbreath, which is something you can't always use. And finally, Vorago gets pushed right back to the end. And the base tank uses the Maul of Omens. Make sure you pick up any drops you get after the kill, and you can get out by clicking the little gravity ball that appears at the end of the kill.